दोस्तों हम ये पढ़ेंगे आज जीएसटी के बारे में। आपको समझना है इंट्रोडक्शन टू गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्सेस। हम जीएसटी के बारे में कुछ जानेंगे। द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टैक्सेस इज अ वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट स्टेप इन द फील्ड ऑफ indirect tax reforms in India. By amalgamate a large number of central and state taxes into a single tax, it has mitigated cascading or double taxation is a major way and paved the way for a common national market. From the consumer point of view, the biggest advantage would be in terms of a reduction in the overall taxes burden on goods and services, which was estimated to be around 25% to 30%. Introduction of GST would also make Indian product competitive in the domestic and international markets. Studies show that this would have a boosting impact on economic growth because of its transparent and self-policing character. GST would be easier to administer. The ideas of moving toward the GST was first mooted by the then Union Finance Minister in his budget for 2067. Initially, it was proposed that GST would be introduced from 1st April 2010. The Empowered Committee of State Finance Ministers, which had formulated the design of state VAT, was requested to come up with a roadmap and structure for the GST. Joint working groups of officials having representatives of the states as well as the state were set up to examine various aspects of the GST and draw up reports, and specifically on exemption and thresholds, taxation and services, and taxation of interstate supplies based on a discussion which and between it and the central government. The EC released its first discussion paper of GST November 2009. This spells out of the feature of the proposed GST and has formed the basis for discussion between the central and states so far. Second, Constitution 101 first. Amendment Act 2016. To address all these and other issues, the Constitution's 122 and Amendment Bill was introduced in the 16th Lok Sabha on 19/20/2014. The bill provided for a levy of GST on supply of all goods or services except for alcohol for human consumption. The tax shall be levied as dual GST separately but concurrently by the Union Central Taxes CGST and the states including Union territories with the legislature. State taxes GST. Union territory without legislature, the Parliament would have exclusive power to levy GST on interstate trade and e-commerce in goods and services. The central government will have the power to levy excise duty and addition to the GST on tobacco products. The tax of supply for 5 specified petroleum products, namely crude, high-speed diesel, petrol, aviation, turbine fuel, and natural gas, would be levied from a later date of recommendation of GST Council. A Goods and Services Taxes Council shall be constituted comprising and Union Finance Ministers, the Minister of State and the State Finance Minister to recommend on the GST rate exemption and thresholds taxes to be subsumed and other features. This machine would ensure some degrees of harmonization or different aspect and GST between the central and the state as well as across state. One half of the total number of members of GSTC would form quorum in a meeting of GSTC. Decision in a GSTC would be taken by a majority of not less than 3/4 of a weighted votes cast. Central and minimum of 20 states would be required for majority because center would have 1/3 weightage